Yeah, welcome back to the channel. I'm decided this morning that I would come and revisit the pumping station. And if you haven't seen our video on the Dover pumping station, we were down here and filmed it, I believe, in early April. And the last little while we've had some unprecedented rains. And I'm here with Jordan and Kevin this afternoon. It's Saturday afternoon. And they're going to tell us about what's going on down here. Morning. Good afternoon, I guess.
How you doing, Dennis? Yeah, well, like you see, we've experienced in excess of, I'm going to say at least 3.5 to 4 inches in our regard watershed here yesterday afternoon. So we knew what was coming down the pipe for us. So we started yesterday afternoon pumping, and then I'm going to say midway through early this morning, around 2-3 o'clock this morning, the waters has come to us. What you see right now, as a rule, under that bridge, you'll usually see somewhere between 6 to 8 feet of clearance, and you can see right now we don't have that. So our water's continuously been coming up. I'm anticipating at least coming up possibly another foot before it peaks, and from that point, you're probably looking at the earliest, probably through the night, Monday into Tuesday, before water starts receding here. That's moving with the pumps at 165,000 gallons a minute, and our floodgates not being open because our lake's higher, okay? So the floodgates will work if the lake's lower, but today it's not gonna happen, okay? So all this water is gonna be very dependent on the pumps to move it on. Jordan?
Yeah, so...
Jordan.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Busy time these days. Busy last 3 weeks. Been pretty busy. So.
You getting any sleep?
Well, some. Seems like everything always happens at night. So.
Yes. And on the weekend.
Yeah. But yeah. So I guess in this watershed, we're lucky we didn't get the rains that the northern part of Dover got. What was that? Was it 3 weeks ago now? 2 or 3 weeks ago. They got 9.5. Some people say 11 inches up near the Mud Creek Club, which is in the northern part of Dover Township, right where the Sny outlets into the lake. But this watershed, being the 33,000 acres that it is, experienced not a lot of that rain, but they just got about 4 inches or so in Chatham, which is significant because when Chatham gets the rain, you don't get a lot of infiltration in the city, you don't have a lot of stormwater control in the city. So it comes down, and like Kevin said, it takes a while to get down here. So they try and dump down as much as they can, draw it down, and it's kind of a waiting game. It's coming up now, and it'll come up steadily, and then we'll catch it. Hopefully we don't get more rain, but I guess the ground is not really infiltrating much right now because of the way it is. So,
It's full.
yeah, the sponge is full, I guess.
Well, I think we're good till Wednesday.
We still got a week to do. Jeez. But no, it's quite, yeah, like I said, what saved us the last time, we were up back 3 weeks ago, like when Mitchell's Bay and Dresden experienced all the rain. But what saved us on this particular scheme at that time, that the city of Chatham didn't get the rain. Okay, so we were basically just dealing with Dover Township to take care of. Okay, but like Jordan said, the water in Chatham, like
All
water,
comes.
it all comes, and it goes off asphalt, right? So like I said, that's what really got us this time, because Chatham really got it as well as everybody else. Okay, so like I said, we're dealing with with the water, and then all of the lily pads and the phragmite and the seaweed grass. It's just something else. It's just very, and it makes our job. See, one of the guys working here, he's got to keep the grates clean so we can get a continuous flow of water coming into our pumps. Okay, so that's why it's very important to have somebody here monitoring these all 24 hours a day when they are running. Okay, these were started up yesterday afternoon, and they will not shut down until we get this watershed under control. Okay.
Well, we'll maybe go and have a look at the water coming out.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, maybe duck in where these pumps are. You won't be able to hear much, but we'll go in anyway. big a stick will it take? Like how big a hunk of lumber would it, like stick will a pump take?
Well,
I don't want. I don't.
I don't know. It's like we try not to figure that out, but like those two large pumps are 54-inch pumps. So like the bigger the pump, probably the more stuff you can shove through it. But you wouldn't want to.
Like a 2x4, 2 feet long.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. I don't know. I've never experienced it. Like,
The only thing, a funny story that I heard was that Bob had told me that he had got a woman's coat wrapped around one. You had to get a diver in. That was before they had grates. They ran these things initially with no trash grates. So he said he
That'd be tough.
You got that right. So that was the long pole that I was telling you about. They used to use before somebody lost the rake. That's what they used to use before that mechanized rake. Believe it or not. The guy was in his 80s.
That'd be all work.
The guy was in his 80s doing that, Dennis. Unreal.
yeah, when the lake's lower, it's a lot easier to see how much water's coming out of there. But you can imagine, like, you know, that's a 5-foot gate. You know?
Well, this is a lot higher than it was when I was here in April.
Oh yeah. The seasonal, like I mean, we've got a lot of rain, so locally the water's come up, but seasonally this is usually when the water starts to spike up, and then it'll go down again towards the wall.
Last year, I had water. I was walking that grate, and I had water splashing my feet
On that walkway.
on that catwalk. Yeah.
We're still well over average lake level, like historical average lake level, 2 feet or so. I haven't checked in a while just because eventually just stop checking because it's too high.
They don't need a motor. They can just ride the current.
Yeah, I know.
I'll push up the
That's another challenge we have being right here.
Is the boaters.
To be quite honest with you, the reception's been very good lately. I've talked to the caretaker. She's been very understanding. They understand.
What do you do?
Hey, we're in Dover Township. Farming is our livelihood. So this is what we got to do to keep the livelihood going.
And if you don't like agriculture, you better not eat supper.
Oh, exactly. Absolutely. Well, if it does anything, get your voting skills a little bit better.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, this is going to be our job. Like I said, until the water gets down. We got a very good staff helping me out because I can't do it all myself. Okay, the guys.
The problem with this job, you never know when you got to go to work.
Well, that's the thing, and like I was just saying to George, it seems like it always lands on Friday night. So like, I'll send out a group text to all my guys. They must say, "Oh, damn, that's the weekend again."
And it's one of those things that it's really dynamic because there's so many factors. Like you think like it was so dry before we got all this rain, so a lot of guys were holding water because they were wanting to irrigate, right? And all of a sudden, bang, you get all this water, and you go, "Well, we should have ran the pumps and dumped it down, right?" But you just never know.
I could see it coming because of the drought we had this spring, eh? Because we got guys with carrots, onions, and so on, so they want to get. They're very shallow seeded crops, so they need moisture.
Yep.
So here I am trying to do like Jordan said, doing the balancing act. So then you got your ear to the radio, because when they were talking that 4 inches of rain 3 weeks ago, I was getting phone calls. You're gonna pump ditch down, aren't you? And I said, oh yeah, it's coming. You know. So
Being as it's so close to the lake, like I mean, the lake's right there.
Yeah.
That you just get these storms that sometimes they'll be over the lake, and sometimes they just sneak in just a tad. And that's all it takes, right?
yeah, Lake St. Clair's not very large. And it'll do 3 things. It'll go up the big river, it'll go to Lake Erie, or she hits us dead on. That's what I've always found. Okay.
The wind can really affect this too, right?
It blow the water in.
Blow the water in and you get like a siege or something like that, and it's significant, especially over in here where, you know, if the westerly wind will blow right up against the dike, and then if you get waves and the lake is high, it can actually start splashing over the dike and start to carve on the other side of the dike. That's water being a little bit lower now is giving us a little bit of relief, but all sorts of challenges.
And the lake's pretty shallow.
Yeah, and you can experience. It's like like you experience that westerly wind, and it pushes it up this way, and it goes the other way, and it pushes it that way, right? Prevailing winds seem to screw us a little bit more than they do the other side of the lake.
Well, that's good. I just wanted to get down and kind of do a little review on what we did the other day. And
yeah, nice to see what we talked about in action, right?
Yeah, that's just it. Cause it's like anything with drainage. Most of the time, when things are good, you don't really understand what could go wrong, right? Hey, what
or how important it is.
Yeah, and then you see how much water you got to move out of here, and like you got to pump every drop. You're not getting any gravity relief, right?
The other thing, even with all the pumps and drainage and tile and ditches and everything else, there's still millions of dollars worth of damage in Dover and Chatham Townships. A lot of high value crops.
Yes. It's very sad. Former tomato grower myself, see the devastation of tomatoes. Everybody's saying to me, "Oh, aren't you glad you're not growing tomatoes anymore?" Yes, for more reasons than one. But I said, I still got a heartbeat. You know what I mean?
The problem with vegetables, high dollar, and they will not take this weather.
Oh, they can't stand their feet wet for very long.
The corn will take it.
Oh, it seems like it. I got one farm. I know there's 1.5 foot of water for swale, and it looks like it's.
And the corn's still green.
Yeah.
Soybeans don't like it very long.
I went up to Grand Bend on the weekend or Tuesday, and a lot of like 21 highway all the way up, a lot of damage that way.
Some of the stuff, I think, even like Dover got a lot up north, but they have the pumps, and there's a lot more smaller pump schemes. They're able to isolate their water and put in secondary like PTO pumps. But the area of Chatham Township, like Green Valley and Bush up by 40, that got hammered too. Like, I mean, they're still draining water off that was there for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It just does not go anywhere.
Jordan told me, he said he actually knows how many Montana pumps are out there today. It's unreal. That's how many he moved that weekend.
Those PTO pumps we moved, I think. I know I moved 7 of Lower Thameses, and then we borrowed one from the wildlife area. A couple of the schemes had their own. Guys had their own. Yeah, they were all over the place, right? And those things, some of them are rated at 8,000 gallons a minute, and they were pumping for 3 or 4 days, not seeming to make too much of a dent on top of
The other ones. Yeah.
So there was a lot of water.
Well, that's great. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Rob.
Jordan,
Thank you.
Kevin.
You're more than welcome anytime.
And that's another thing I wanted to stress. It's an open door policy down here. If anybody wants to come down, especially when there's a big rain on, Kevin and Jordan and the whole crew here are really good to show you around and show you what's going on. They're very knowledgeable on what's going on. Anyway, I just thought I would do a little update on the previous video, and I just want to, if you like this, give us a like and a comment if you got one, and we'll catch you on the next video.